If you're thinking about moving to the Pittsburgh area, one of the questions that you're probably asking yourself is, what's there to do? The answer is a lot more than most people realize. Forget the typical tourist lists. I'm going to share 10 of my favorite things about living in the Pittsburgh area. These are places that I enjoy, places that I recommend to my clients, and the places that make so many people fall in love with living here. And here's something that I always tell my relocation buyers. Where you choose to live has a lot to do with how often you'll actually enjoy these places. That's why as we go through each one, I'll also point out which communities put you closest to the lifestyle that you're looking for. Stick around until the end because my favorite one might surprise you. Hi, I'm Diane McConaghy, a real estate associate broker with RE/MAX Select Realty, and for more than 12 years I've been helping buyers and sellers throughout Western Pennsylvania. I've had the opportunity to introduce hundreds of families to this area, and one thing that I've learned is that people don't just fall in love with the house, they fall in love with the lifestyle that comes with it. So as we go through my 10 favorite things about living in the Pittsburgh area, I'll also show you which communities put those experiences just minutes from your front door. Before we get started, these aren't ranked from best to worst. They simply are 10 of my favorite things about living in Pittsburgh. Depending on your interests, your number one might be completely different from mine. Number one isn't a place, it's a drive. If you're coming from the airport on the Parkway West, you'll drive through the Fort Pitt Tunnel, and then it happens. The tunnel opens up and suddenly the entire Pittsburgh skyline is right in front of you. The three rivers, the bridges, the point, all at once. It never gets old. I've driven through that tunnel hundreds of times, and I still catch myself looking every single time. Here's my tip. If you're introducing someone to Pittsburgh for the first time, make the drive on a clear evening just before sunset. It's one of the best first impressions that this city has to offer. One other tip, don't do it during rush hour unless you don't mind sitting in traffic. If that view is what makes you fall in love with Pittsburgh, you'll probably want to focus your home search on the western side of the city. Communities like Green Tree, Scott Township, Robinson Township, Crafton, Ingram, and even parts of Kennedy Township give you quick access to downtown while still offering quiet neighborhoods, driveways, and backyards. And here's something else to think about. If you're commuting into the city every day, that side of town can make a huge difference in your quality of life. That drive is one of the best first impressions that you'll ever get of Pittsburgh, but once you've seen the skyline from the Fort Pitt Tunnel, the next stop is seeing it from above. One of my favorite ways to experience Mount Washington is by riding one of the historic inclines. The Duquesne Incline has been carrying passengers up and down the hillside since 1877, and the Monongahela Incline is even older. They're still part of Pittsburgh's public transportation system today, and riding one is one of Pittsburgh's experiences that you shouldn't miss. Once you're at the top, don't just stop at the overlook. Take some time to stroll along Grandview Avenue, then wander over to Shiloh Street, where you'll find restaurants, coffee shops, bakeries, ice cream, and local shops that give Mount Washington its neighborhood feel. And if you're celebrating a special occasion, this is one of the best places in Pittsburgh to enjoy dinner with a view. Two longtime favorites of mine are Lamont and Monterey Bay Fish Grotto. If you go to Monterey Bay, make sure that you order the steak Diane. You can thank me later. If you're lucky enough to be here for the 4th of July, Mount Washington is one of the best places to watch the fireworks. Just be prepared though. People start claiming their spots hours before, if not days before the show begins. Some of the best views aren't from one overlook. They're from taking your time and enjoying the entire walk. Now, let's talk about one of my favorite Saturday morning traditions in Pittsburgh. If you've never been to the Strip District on Saturday morning, put it on your list. There's just something about the energy. Street vendors line the sidewalks, fresh produce is stacked outside the markets, you can smell fresh bread and roasted coffee in the air, and every storefront seems to have something different to discover. One of my favorite things to do is wander through the specialty food shops. Stop by Pennsylvania Macaroni Company for some cheeses, pasta, and olive oils, and grab a loaf of fresh bread from Mancini's. If you love seafood, you can't miss Holy's Market. And of course, if it's your first trip to Pittsburgh, you'll probably want to stop at Permane Brothers and see what all the fuss is about. Whether you're looking for Pittsburgh sports merchandise, specialty kitchen stores, local artisans, coffee shops, gourmet foods, unique gifts, or one of my personal favorites, the candy store where you can buy candy in bulk and find treats that you probably haven't seen since you were a kid. You'll find it in the Strip District. It's impossible to walk out of there empty-handed. My biggest piece of advice, get there early. Parking gets harder as the morning goes on, and honestly, half the fun is simply walking from one shop to the next and seeing what catches your eye. You don't need to live downtown to enjoy places like this. For most people, the Strip District is a Saturday destination. Whether you live in Ross Township, Cecil, Hopewell, Clairton, or many of the surrounding communities, it's an easy drive on a weekend morning. And every time I go, I seem to leave with something that I wasn't planning on buying. And before you leave the Strip District, take a walk through the terminal. What was once Pittsburgh's historic wholesale produce terminal has been transformed into one of the city's newest gathering places with restaurants, shops, entertainment, seasonal markets, and plenty of outdoor space to relax. It's a great example of how Pittsburgh continues to preserve its history while creating new places for people to enjoy. Now, let's head somewhere completely different. One of the things that I love about living in Western Pennsylvania is that you don't have to drive hours into the country to enjoy a real farm experience. We're surrounded by family-owned farm markets that people come back to year after year. Sorghel Orchards in Wexford has become much more than a farm market. You can pick up fresh fruits, vegetables, browse the bakery, grab homemade cider, shop for seasonal decorations, and in the fall you'll find apple pick hay rides, pumpkin patches, and fresh cider donuts. I love stopping by their deli to grab a fresh made ham sandwich between appointments. And during the summer, they host one of my favorite events, Homegrown Happy Hour. It's a progressive dinner through the orchard where guests ride a wagon from stop to stop, enjoying farm-to-table food and wine pairings along the way. It's a 21 and over event and makes for a fantastic girls' night out. On the western side of Pittsburgh, Janoski's Farm and Greenhouse is another local favorite. Whether you're shopping for flowers in the spring, fresh produce during the summer, or holiday decorations at Christmas, there's always something happening. Janoski's Farm and Greenhouse has been one of my favorite go-to places for years. When I built my home nearly 27 years ago, I bought the arborvitae trees that line my property from Janoski's. I planted 27 of them, and today they're over 20 feet tall. Every time I stop in, I'm reminded of just how long they've been part of this community. And if you're in the South Hills, Simmons Farm was a tradition for me and my mom for years. Every time I was in the area, I'd stop in to pick up a bouquet of freshly cut flowers or a plant along with one of their apple pies to take home to my mother. Even now, I still think of her every time that I drive by. What I love about these places is that they're not just somewhere to shop. They're where families spend an afternoon together. Kids can feed animals, pick pumpkins, pick apples, enjoy seasonal festivals, and head home with fresh produce that was picked just a few miles away. Where you decide to live affects which of these places becomes part of your routine. If you're looking in Wexford or Franklin Park, Sorghel may become your Saturday morning tradition. If you're buying in Clinton, Hanover Township, or Hopewell, Janoski's is just a short drive away. And if you're settling in Upper St. Clair or Venetia, Simmons Farm will probably become your family's favorite. These places are part of what makes living here feel different. And speaking of getting outside, let's head to one of my favorite parts of living in Western Pennsylvania. One of the great things about living in Pittsburgh is our incredible trail system. Whether you enjoy walk, jogging, or bicycling, we have hundreds of miles of interconnected trails throughout Western Pennsylvania. It's one of the things that surprises almost every relocation buyer. I can't tell you how many buyers have asked me to focus their home search near the trails because they know that they'll use them all the time. The Montour Trail is just a mile from my house. It's built along a former railroad corridor. It winds through many of the western and southern suburbs like Moon Township, Robinson Township, Imperial, North Fayette Township, McDonald, Cecil, Bethel Park, and Clairton. Because it follows the old railroad bed, much of the trail is relatively flat, making it perfect whether you're out for a casual walk, a bicycle ride, or just enjoying a beautiful afternoon. I've ridden from McDonald all the way to Bethel Park, hopped on the T to downtown Pittsburgh, and then made my way back to McDonald. It's a great way to spend the day. But here's what makes it even more special. The Montour Trail connects to the Great Allegheny Passage, better known as the Gap. From downtown Pittsburgh, you can ride through the south side, past Sandcastle, Kennywood, McKeesport, and continue all the way to Cumberland, Maryland. From there, the trail connects to the historic C&O Canal towpath, allowing you to travel all the way to Washington, D.C., almost entirely on dedicated trails. A few years ago, I actually rode from Maryland back to Pittsburgh over several days, and I can honestly say it's one of the most beautiful rides that I've ever done. The scenery changes constantly as you pass rivers, forests, small towns, old railroad tunnels, and historic bridges. It's hard to believe that something like this exists right in our own backyard. And if you're looking for something a little different, the Three Rivers Heritage Trail takes you right through the heart of Pittsburgh. You can walk or bike along all three rivers, passing Point State Park, PNC Park, Acrisure Stadium, Rivers Casino, Washington's Landing, the Strip District, the South Side, and so many other iconic parts of the city. It's one of the best ways to experience Pittsburgh from a completely different perspective. One of the things that I also love is these trails aren't just for weekends. They're part of everyday life here. People use them to exercise before work, walk their dogs after dinner, train for marathons, or simply spend time outdoors with family and friends. If living close to the trail is important to you, communities like Moon Township, Robinson Township, North Fayette Township, Imperial, McDonald, Cecil, Bethel, portions of South Hills, they all provide excellent access to the Montour Trail. If you'd rather be closer to the city, neighborhoods along the Three Rivers Heritage Trail offer a completely different but equally enjoyable experience. This is one of those amenities that doesn't always show up on a relocation checklist, but once you live here, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. Now, let's head to another outdoor destination that families enjoy all year long. We've got an incredible park system. Whether you're looking for a place to walk, bike, kayak, fish, picnic, or simply spend time outdoors, you'll never run out of options. North Park is one of the largest parks in Allegheny County and one of my favorites. The 5-mile loop around the lake is always busy with walkers, runners, cyclists, and families. You can rent kayaks and paddle boats, go fishing, play golf, or simply enjoy an afternoon by the water. It's one of those places where people return to over and over again. On the western side of the county, Settlers Cabin Park is another family favorite. It's home to the wave pool that just about every kid in the western suburbs grows up visiting, along with hiking trails, picnic areas, and one of the nicest outdoor settings in the area. South Park offers many of the same amenities on the southern side of Allegheny County, making it a favorite for families throughout Bethel Park, Upper St. Clair, Peters Township, and the surrounding communities. One park that often gets overlooked is Riverview Park on the Pittsburgh's north side. If you've never been there, it's worth the trip. The overlooks are beautiful, the walking trails are peaceful, and it's also home to the historic Allegheny Observatory, where public viewing nights let you look through professional telescopes. It's one of Pittsburgh's hidden gems. If boating, sailing, paddle boarding, or spending a day on the water is more your style, Moraine State Park and Lake Arthur are less than an hour north of Pittsburgh and make an easy weekend getaway. And if you're willing to venture just a little further south into Washington County, Mingo Creek County Park is another beautiful destination known for its covered bridges, miles of trails, and the Mingo Creek Observatory, where astronomy programs are held throughout the year. Living near a great park isn't just about having somewhere to spend on a Saturday afternoon. It's about the quality of life. Whether it's walking your dog after work, taking the kids to the playground, going for a morning run, your commute to work, or meeting friends for a picnic, these are the places that become part of your everyday routine. And from a real estate perspective, homes located near parks, trails, and other outdoor amenities are often more desirable when it's time to sell. Buyers aren't just looking at the house, they're looking at the lifestyle that comes with it. Now, before I share the rest of my list, before we move on, I'd love to hear from you. If you already live here, leave me a comment and tell me what your favorite place is that I haven't mentioned yet. And if you're thinking about moving to the Pittsburgh area, hit that subscribe button, because I've got a lot more videos coming about neighborhoods, about schools, and what it's really like to live here. Let's get into number 7. If you ask someone who grew up in Pittsburgh about their favorite childhood memories, there's a pretty good chance that Kennywood is going to come up. Kennywood has been entertaining families since 1898, making it one of the oldest amusement parks in the country. It's the kind of place where grandparents take their grandkids on the same rides that they enjoyed when they were kids. From the Jackrabbit and the Racer to the Turtle and Noah's Ark, Kennywood is full of traditions that generations of Pittsburgh families have really grown up with. I'll never forget one of my family's trips to Kennywood. Keep in mind that I grew up with 8 brothers and sisters, so taking all 11 of us to an amusement park was quite an adventure, quite an experience. My parents thought it was a great idea until we got on the Thunderbolt. The ride got stuck at the very top of the highest points. Every one of us kids, and my dad, because my mom refused to get on it, we had to climb out of the coaster and walk all the way back down the track. I don't think that I've ever been so scared in my life. Of course, my dad thought that it was the greatest day ever because he got to walk the track. My mom had a different adventure. She finally worked up the courage to get on the pirate ship, then changed her mind at the very last second and made them stop the ride so that she could get off before it even started. Talk about a Kennywood memory. And of course, no trip to Kennywood is complete without a basket of potato patch fries. Everybody has an opinion on whether they're the best fries around, and I'll let you decide that for yourself. One of the things that I love about Kennywood is that it's not just a summer destination. In the fall, it transforms into Phantom Fall Fest. My daughter goes every Halloween, and during the holidays, holiday lights turn the park into a completely different experience. If you live in Monroeville, West Mifflin, or many of the eastern suburbs, Kennywood is close enough that a season pass actually makes good sense. It stops being a once-a-year event and becomes an easy summer evening with the family after work or on the weekend. These are the kinds of traditions that make living here feel like home. Now, let's head downtown for another Pittsburgh experience that you won't just find anywhere. Whether you're a sports fan or not, everyone should spend at least one day exploring Pittsburgh's North Shore. On game day, the energy is contagious. Thousands of people dressed in black and gold fill the sidewalks, restaurants are packed, and walking across the Roberto Clemente Bridge into the stadiums is part of the experience. And in my opinion, PNC Park has one of the most beautiful views in all of Major League Baseball. Sitting there with the Pittsburgh skyline rising beyond the outfield is something that every baseball fan needs to experience at least once. One of my favorite memories happened when my son was about 3 years old. We had a front row seats down the first baseline, so we're so close that your feet are actually below the field level. Between every inning, my son kept yelling for a baseball. Eventually, he fell asleep in my arms. Then in the 8th inning, he woke up just as the first baseman walked over and handed him a baseball. He looked at it, looked back at the player, and said, "Where's my bat?" That was my favorite PNC Park memory until the day that the Jumbotron caught me drinking a beer. My mother saw it on TV and couldn't wait to call me afterwards to say, "I never knew you drank beer." And while you're on the North Shore, you'll be right next door to Acrisure Stadium. Although if you ask just about anyone who grew up here, they still call it Heinz Field. I have a feeling that that's one of Pittsburgh traditions that's going to stick around for a very long time. The North Shore isn't just about sports. Spend time walking the riverfront trails, have dinner overlooking the water, visit the Carnegie Science Center, tour the USS Requin submarine, or stop by the National Aviary just a few minutes away. It's one of those places where you can easily spend an entire day. If you're coming from the South Hills taking the T, it's one of the easiest ways to get downtown. You can avoid the traffic, skip the expensive parking garages, and simply enjoy the day with no traffic. Whether you're coming for a Steelers game, a Pirates game, a concert, or just an afternoon along the river, the North Shore is one of those places that reminds you why so many people love living in Pittsburgh. Now, let's head to one of Pittsburgh's true cultural treasures. The great thing about living in Pittsburgh is that some of the city's best experiences don't cost much at all. In fact, many are completely free. Start with Point State Park, where the Allegheny and Monongahela rivers come together to form the Ohio River. Whether you're walking along the riverfront, relaxing by the fountain, or just taking in the skyline, it's one of those places that you'll find yourself coming back to again and again. Make sure to hop on a Gateway Clipper sightseeing or dinner cruise, rent a kayak, walk or bike the river trails, or simply spend an afternoon exploring the waterfront. It's one of my favorite ways to introduce visitors to Pittsburgh because you get to experience the city from a completely different perspective. Pittsburgh is also home to some incredible museums. Phipps Conservatory is beautiful any time of year, especially during the seasonal flower shows and holiday displays. The Carnegie Museum of Art and Natural History are right next door to each other, so you can easily spend an entire day there. The Andy Warhol Museum is unlike anything else in the country. The Carnegie Science Center is always a hit with families, and the National Aviary is one of only a few independent aviaries in the United States. Then there are festivals. Pittsburgh also knows how to throw a festival, whether it's Picklesburg, which has grown into one of the biggest pickle festivals in the country, and yes, Picklesburg is exactly what it sounds like. Pickle-flavored everything. You either love it or you spend the whole day wondering how anyone came up with the idea. Rib Fest brings barbecue lovers together every summer, and believe it or not, we even have a mac and cheese festival where tickets usually sell out in less than a day. Add in Little Italy Days, the Three Rivers Arts Festival, and Light Up Night, and there's almost always something happening somewhere around the city. And before I finish the list, I have to mention one of Pittsburgh's sweetest traditions, the cookie table. If you've never been to a Pittsburgh wedding, you're in for a surprise. Instead of one dessert, families spend weeks baking hundreds, sometimes thousands of homemade cookies for guests to enjoy. Around here, taking a few home at the end of the night isn't just accepted, it's expected. Whether you're into food, music, arts, or just looking for something fun to do on a weekend, chances are there's a festival going on somewhere. Now, let's finish with the one experience that I think leaves the biggest impression on people. If there's one thing that ties everything that we've talked about together, it's Pittsburgh's Three Rivers. They aren't just something that you drive over on your way to work. They're part of everyday life here. On a nice evening, you'll find people walking riverfront trails, riding bikes along the Three Rivers Heritage Trail, kayaking through downtown, or simply sitting on a bench watching the boats go by. One of my favorite ways to introduce someone to Pittsburgh is from the water. Hop aboard a Gateway Clipper sightseeing cruise, enjoy a dinner cruise at sunset, or just spend an afternoon walking along the river walks connecting Point State Park, the North Shore, the Strip District, and Station Square. And if you're looking for something a little different, take a ride on one of those Just Ducky tours. It's exactly what it sounds like, a bus that suddenly becomes a boat. One minute you're driving through downtown, and the next you're headed straight into the water. Every first-time rider thinks, wait, are we really doing this? Then, before you know it, you're floating down the river looking back at the skyline. During the day, it's a huge hit with families and school groups, and in the evenings, they even have adult-themed tours that are a lot of fun. And that's really what I love most about living here. Whether you're spending a Saturday morning in the Strip District, whether you're enjoying dinner on Mount Washington, riding the trails, taking the grandkids to Kennywood, or ending the day with a cruise on the river, these aren't just places you visit. They become part of your life. That's what you're really buying when you move to Pittsburgh. So there you have it, 10 of my favorite things about living in and around Pittsburgh. Some of them are well known, others are places and experiences that locals enjoy every single week without thinking twice about them. And that's really what I wanted this video to show you. Whether it's grabbing lunch at Sorgel Orchards, between appointments, spending a Saturday afternoon wandering through the Strip District, biking the Montour Trail, taking the grandkids to Kennywood, or ending the day with dinner overlooking the skyline from Mount Washington, these are the things that turn a city into a home. Pittsburgh isn't perfect. We have our hills, our tunnels, and yes, our gray winter days, but we also have incredible neighborhoods, beautiful parks and trails, a city rich in history, and a quality of life that's getting harder and harder to find in many parts of the country. For a lot of families that I have helped, that's exactly why they chose to call Western Pennsylvania home. If you're thinking about making the move to Pittsburgh or anywhere in Western Pennsylvania, I'd love the opportunity to help. Whether you're buying your first home, relocating, relocating from another state, or just trying to figure out which community best fits your lifestyle, my team and I are here to help every step of the way. You can call, text, or email me. My contact information is below. And if you'd like a little head start, be sure to download my free Pittsburgh Relocation Guide. It covers neighborhoods, schools, taxes, commuting, and so much more to help you make your move a little easier. You'll find the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you'd give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Every week, I share videos about what it's really like to live, work, and play here in Pittsburgh and the surrounding communities. And if you're wondering which Pittsburgh neighborhood might be the best to fit your lifestyle, watch this video next. Pittsburgh neighborhoods that perfect for remote workers. Thanks so much for spending part of your day with me, and I'll see you in the next one.